What's going on, guys? So if you watched my last video, you'll know that I also invest in singles, and we were talking about Paldea Evolved. You'll see in this video, I'm very high on Paldea Evolved, but let's just talk about some singles I invested in this last month, I would say. So for the raw ones, there goes all my slabs. So for raw, I pretty much got all of these in trade outside of the EVs. We got the Charizard from Obsidian Flames. I still kind of think that's undervalued. Look how expensive the booster box is. It, it won't gem, obviously. I prefer PSA 10s pretty much across the board. I'll do raw stuff if it's near mint or I think it has potential. I don't believe this will gem. If it did, that would be nutty, but I still just believe this is a $100+ card. I only have the Umbreon and Espeon promos from, I believe it's the pin collection or figure collection or premium collection or something along those lines. And I'm gonna look those over to see if they're gradable, but those are honestly really, really great promos, and I would like to get those in PSA 10s. If they were cheap in PSA 10s, I would load up. Same thing with the SPC promo. I bought 2 of those. Those already, actually I bought 3 of those. I don't believe they will gem at all, but it's still nice to have them in raw. I think long term that'll be fine. I got these in a trade as well, and I mean, they're all outside of Gardevoir, Sword and Shield cards, Misty Starmie. You can't go wrong with Misty Starmie. I already have that in a PSA 10, but just for when I vend at shows, it's nice to have raw stuff as well. Yeah, so this Umbreon's Trainer Gallery, I believe I have this in a 10 as well, or I have a different one in a 10. I can't remember off the top of my head. But, I mean, it's Umbreon. You really can't go wrong with that. A Sword and Shield alt art, the Palkia. That's a card I like no matter what, and I don't have. And then the Gardevoir from Paldean Fates. I mean, it's Paldean Fates. It's getting ready to rotate out. I already have the Charizard. Fortunately, I never bought the Bubble Mew at $70 when it was regularly available and cheap, and everybody was saying to buy it. I didn't. Go figure, right? But hey, that happens. So next, we're gonna talk about slabs. Now, we're gonna talk about gem rates and population. So a gem rate is basically if I send 10 cards in and all 10 come back at PSA 10, the gem rate's 100%. Population is how many 10s there are out there. I think that's the easiest way to explain that. Everybody already knows I collect the Pokemon Center stamps. You can see the stamp right there. Everybody knows I collect the Pokemon Center stamped exclusive ETB promos, whatever you want to call them, and the Wobbuffet is one of 2 I still needed, so I picked this up. It was an alright deal. It came down a lot in value with the market crash we had in December, and it started kind of rebounding. I think it's a really good card. I mean, obviously it's a really popular set, Destined Rivals. Who the hell is opening Destined Rivals PC ETBs? I sure ain't. I don't know anybody that still is, and sad, I still need the raw version for my master set. So that kind of sucks, but at least I got the 10 done. I still need the Tornadus from White Flare. Unfortunately, I didn't look up the pop report or the gem rate on this, but I would imagine both are pretty low. I'd imagine the pop report's probably sub 500, gem rate's probably like 20% or something along those lines at least. I know the Tornadus is like 100 and pop 170 and just very low gem rate, like 10% gem rate. Like, it's horrendous, and I don't look forward to buying that because he's not popular. It's just not something I want to do yet, unfortunately, but that's the last one I need, and then I have all of the Scarlet and Violet PCTB promos in PSA 10s. I only know of one other person that have them, but we're almost there. That was kind of more me collecting than investing, kind of both. Now, investment-wise, we have the Victini. This is the Black Bolt, White Flare, like Victini illustration collection box, I guess. It's the promo that comes out of there. Absolutely stunner of a card. I mean, that artwork is amazing. I actually have another one coming. This could be had right around like 130 still. I called it out my Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, join the Discord. The raw version was like $7. I called it out there as well. So you can load up on the raw ones of these. And the Victini, it's starting to get a higher pop count, pop report. I mean, by today's standard, it's still not high, but the pop on the Victini is 4,772. So yeah, by today's standard, when cards are 13 to 30,000 to 40,000, gray felt hat Pikachu, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. That is nasty. So the Victini has an actual gem rate of 25%. So you have hard to grade. I mean, how many people want this card? I think there's a lot of people that want this card. Personally, I bought a second one so I can keep one and then I can sell one later. I think when, Black Bolt and White Flare goes to rotate out, I think this is going to be a super popular card. And there's also the probability we don't get any more of those boxes, which means no more promos. So I don't know how much I believe we don't get any more of those boxes, but it's a possibility. Next, we have the starters from Paldea Evolve. You have Fuecoco, Spiritego, and Quaxley. Honestly, I really don't like Spiritego as much as I like Fuecoco and Quaxley. Like, I think these two are just absolute stunners of cards. Like, they are absolutely adorable. Spiritego, not so much. I guess maybe if you're a cat person. Maybe it's just like a cat sleeping in a flower bed. I don't know. Maybe it's more of a girl card. I'm not 100% sure. But Fuecoco is definitely my favorite, followed by Quaxley. Now, Quaxley here has the lowest pop. That is a 308 pop. That is insane. I don't understand why this is such a cheap card, but definitely has potential to do wild numbers later. And all of these, like the 3 starters, were incredibly hard for me to get at a good price. I waited probably a month to get these at a decent price, and it was slowly one by one by one. And again, called these out in the Discord. I tried to buy them in the Discord. Raw versions I'm not really looking for. Like I said, if I'm going to try to invest in something, I'd rather the PSA 10 version, especially if I can get it at a really cheap price. So Quaxley is 308 pop. 308 of these exist. That's insanity, which comes out to a 17% gem rate. 17%. That is just abysmally low. Fuecoco is a pop 675. Again, incredibly low. Incredibly low. With a gem rate of 20%, I really just, like I said, it's a great card. I think that'll do numbers. And then Spiritego is slightly higher than the rest. This is, well, pop count is 638, so it's lower than Fuecoco, but its gem rate's 23%. I mean, gem rates in the 20s is abysmally low. And usually cards that have low gem rates do very, very well in the future. So, to me, with Paldea Evolved being as expensive as it is, them being literal starters for Gen 9, why wouldn't you target these cards? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like a no-brainer to me, and so I'm going after it. Now, you'll notice that I skipped the middle evolutions for a reason. Middle evolutions usually don't get a whole lot of love. For whatever reason, they're not. Like, think about it. Wartortle, Charmander, Ivysaur, they really get a lot of love compared to Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur. No, they don't. They don't get the same love. So would it be cool to have the whole evolution lines? Absolutely, 100%. And they're not that expensive. They're only like $80 in PSA 10s yet. I don't know the details, the pop count or gem rate on those, but next we have the final evolutions of the stars. We have Meowscarada, Skeldridge, and Quaquaval or something like that. These are definitely cheaper than the starters. You can kind of see a little bit why they have a little bit higher pop and a little bit better gem rates. Again, they're the final evolutions of the starters. I just need to beat that into everybody's minds, just because starters are always the most popular, unless it's Umbreon. But so Meowscarda, 51% gem rate. We're looking at 2100 in a 10. That's still abysmally low for how popular Paldea Evolved is. That's just such a low pop for a modern card. 51% gem rate isn't terrible. I mean, that's still worse than Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield's like 60 to 70% almost across the board. So to be still lower than Sword and Shield, I think is pretty decent. Skelderidge is a little bit higher, 3100. Personally, I like Skelderidge the best, but that's just me, you know. I like the Firemons, that's just me. 56% gem rate, 3100 in a 10. Next we have the water guy, Quavel or something like that. Lowest pop, 1406. 1406, and I got this for like 70 bucks. That is such a low gem rate, or pop count. Sitting at 54% gem. Like, do you see why I'm so high on Paldea Evolved, why I'm so high on Paldea Evolved singles, especially in PSA 10s? Like, those are, I truly think those are going to do numbers. I was also, so to continue on the Paldea Evolved Glaze train, since most of this video is about Paldea Evolved, I also try to look into getting the starters, or the legendaries. These ones I'm a little bit lower on than the starters. I don't think the legendaries are popular. Like, would you rather Wocheen over Zapdos, or Mewtwo, or Mew, or Palkia, or Diagla, or Ho-Oh, or Lugia, or Rayquaza, or Groudon, or Kyogre? Absolutely not. Not in a billion years. Would I rather something like Giratina, or Arceus, or even Xerneas, or something like that over this? Pretty much, yeah. So, yeah, I got Wocheen. I think he's the cheapest of them all. Chen Pao or Chien Pao might be a little cheaper. I haven't really looked at them yet. I know the fish one, which is Chi-Yu, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, so, Wocheen is 1,082 in a 10. There's only 1,000 of these in a 10. But has a gem rate of about 52%, and again, I just don't think he's that popular. I don't have Chen Pao or Chi-Yu, but they're higher than Wocheen. So Chen Pao is 2,300 with a 54% gem rate. Chi-Yu is over 3,000, and that is the most expensive one. I think it's usually going around 130 to 140. Again, I just don't know how I feel about those legendaries. I don't think they're super popular. So I bought Wocheen. I don't think I'm gonna buy the other two. I think I'm done. Finally, I know I picked these up in December. I might have had these in a December video, but I decided to put them in there. We have the Bulbasaur and the Squirtle illustration rares from Stellar Crown. Now, these kind of go against the rest of what I was saying. They have both of them have a 40% gem rate. But these are the top chase cards out of the Stellar Crown set at entirety. They connect with each other. Technically, they also go with the Charmander. But they're just beautiful artworks. Gen 1 starters, I think they'll do well in the long run. Again, 40% gem rate's a little bit on the lower side. They do have high pops. They're both sitting at right around, well, Squirtle's sitting at 13,000. The Bulbasaur's sitting at 11,000. I do think Squirtle is more popular than Bulbasaur. I pretty much across the board. And I also like the Squirtle card way better. I think he looks way cuter. Even if they don't, do numbers in the future, which, again, they're illustration rares, so they're a little capped just because of the fact that they're illustration rares. But I'd be okay keeping them. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, if you invest in a slab and you don't like it, like if you get stuck with it, you're mad. Like, I genuinely like these cards, so if I get stuck with them, I'm not going to be mad, especially the Squirtle. And they go with my Charmander PC ETB promo. So it's a win-win for me all around. If they do numbers, I will happily offload them again because they're illustration rares. They're not, they're kind of capped. So we'll see what end up happening with what I grab here. Again, I'm very high on Paldea Evolved. I think Paldea Evolved will do numbers in the future. I'm high on the Victini, and I'm high on the PCTV promos. And then basically, you know, the Evolution promos, super high on those. I really want those all in 10s, like the SPC promos, but they're just so expensive right now, and I can't justify pulling the trigger. Same thing with these two promos. I just can't justify pulling the trigger on a 10 at the current price points. They'd have to fall a little bit more. And by a little bit more, I mean probably like 25 to 50% roughly. So I guess I was kind of looking at these to see if I could grade them, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway, guys, join the Discord. Look for shout outs. Add your own shout outs in the Discord. Head on over to my website, maxpacks.com. We've got English product under market, including Prismatic Evolutions. We've got Japanese stuff under market, because who can find Ascended Heroes or Phantasmal Flames right now? You're going to have a hard time. We have those both under market, Mega Dream and Inferno X. Check us out, maxpacks.com. That's all I got for you guys. I'll see you on the next video.